What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys my Week 2 preview and predictions for the Big Ten season. There are a lot of great games on this week. It should be a fairly exciting week. Let's see how my predictions fared last week. Last week, I went 4-3. So, pretty solid overall, 500. I was expecting a little bit better, but I will take 4-3 over 500, which means overall I am also 4-3. And we do have to kick this preview prediction video off with a little bit of some disappointing news, as we have our first game in the Big Ten that has been canceled due to COVID-19. It is going to be the Wisconsin Badgers and Nebraska Cornhuskers that will not play this week. Now, interestingly enough, Nebraska did go out and try to schedule another game. They tried to get the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga to come play in Lincoln, and it was all set up. It was all approved. However, the Big Ten said, no. So that did not end up happening. Some really, really sad news there. I was looking forward to see Nebraska play and how they rebounded back. I was looking forward to watch this game, but you have to understand Wisconsin has COVID concerns in their locker room, among staff and among players. So it only made sense for Wisconsin to cancel this game. They're not going to travel to Lincoln, and we are not going to see these two teams on the field. So now these two teams are only going to have a maximum of 8 games. But now to get into the games that I know we're going to see played next week. Tomorrow night, it's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ESPN. It's the Minnesota Golden Gophers and the Maryland Terrapins. Both these teams are looking to rebound from a loss. I do think Minnesota looked better than Maryland. I think they have the better offense, and while their defense struggled against Michigan, Michigan does look like a real deal this year. So I'm going to give the edge to Minnesota in this game. You see there are 20 points for Minnesota. That is the line, and 61 is that over and under. And I am going to give the win here to Minnesota. Maryland just did not look good at all in their game against Northwestern. And Minnesota did get some offense going. I feel like they're going to be able to find some more defense and be able to put a defensive unit together. I don't know how cohesive that defense is going to be like it was last year, but I do think their defense is going to slightly improve as the season goes on. And for Maryland, I think it's going to be a long year for Mike Locksley's group. This team is just, I don't even know where to start with this team. This team needs to improve every single facet of the game if they want to win against Minnesota. Minnesota is a pretty good team. I don't think Maryland's going to be able to win this one. So my prediction is Minnesota wins the Friday night game. Now to move on to the Saturday games. This is the big noon game on Fox at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Halloween week in the Big Ten, and the big noon game on Fox has the Michigan Wolverines up against the Michigan State Spartans. Now Michigan is a 24.5-point favorite, and for good reason. They looked really good against Minnesota. I had a lot of doubts about this team going into the season, and most of those doubts are gone now. Joe Milton played well, and they've seemed to found a good sense of offense within this Michigan team. And when you look on the other side at Michigan State, you lost to Rutgers, and you had 7 turnovers in that game. It was definitely not the best showing by any means. You're looking to rebound this week, but it's going to be really hard to beat this Michigan team. They look really good. That over and under, for anyone who's wondering, is going to be 52.5. It's just right down there. I am going to predict Michigan is going to win this game. I just think Michigan looked better in their first game. I think Michigan has the more talent. I think Michigan State, we got to give them a couple years to sort of develop under that new coach. And when you look over here with Michigan, yes, it's a rivalry game. I understand that, but I do not see how Michigan does not win this game. They are just too high-powered on both sides of the ball. I think Michigan can easily win this one. All right, also a noon game, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This one's going to be on the Big Ten Network. It's the Purdue Boilermakers against the Illinois Fighting Illini. A pretty interesting matchup here. Purdue is going to be favored by 7, with that over and under being 58.5 as of recording this video. Again, all lines and odds that I give you are as of recording this video. Usually it is on a Thursday night, in case you guys are curious, but Purdue favored by 7 points, and I think for good reason. They played really well against Iowa in their first game, especially without Rondale Moore. Now that they have Rondale Moore back, this offense should be explosive. David Bell played absolutely amazing, and it seems like Aiden O'Connell is that guy. Through 50 passes, completed 31 of those. So a little over, I think a little over 55% there for Aiden O'Connell. So not bad at all. I think actually that would be 62% if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is an interesting matchup because Illinois lost to a good Wisconsin team. Now, of course, Wisconsin's not playing this week, but Illinois just could not get anything going against the Badgers, and we'll have to see if they can turn it around here playing this Purdue team. But I am going to pick the Purdue Boilermakers here. I mean, I've already mentioned it. Rondale Moore is coming back. Purdue's going to have a high-flying offense. This Purdue team is going to be a lot of fun to watch this season. I'm going to give the Purdue Boilermakers the win here. And Illinois is going to be off to a rough start. We'll have to see if they can get their offense going here against Purdue. But I do not think that Illinois' offense is going to be able to put up as many points as the Purdue offense. And I don't think Illinois' defense is going to be able to slow down Rondale Moore, David Bell, and that passing attack. So Purdue gets the win in my book. All right, this one is quite an interesting game as well. Fun fact, this is the only game this week between two teams that won last week. So someone's going to come out of this undefeated, and the other one is going to come out of it with a loss. This game is going to be on Fox Sports 1. It takes over the time and place in which the Nebraska-Wisconsin game was going to play. So it's going to be at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except to the switch from the Big Ten Network to Fox Sports 1. An interesting matchup here is Indiana did pull off the upset against Penn State and looked good. I think they can get their offense going more. They only had 211 yards of total offense, but I think Indiana's going to be able to exploit this Rutgers defense. Indiana is favored by 10.5, with that over and under being 53. But Rutgers was the feel-good story of the week last week, winning their first Big Ten game since 2017, and they did it by forcing 7 turnovers. Now, they did have 3 of their own. A lot of people forget that. So Rutgers is going to have to make that adjustment there on offense. But Indiana, I feel like Indiana is something special this year. Indiana has not had a good team in a very, very long time. And I think Indiana's going to get off to a hot start here. I think they're going to give the loss to Rutgers here. It could be an interesting game. Some people say it's going to be closer than that 10.5. I think that 10.5 is about right. I think Indiana might win this one by 10 or 13. But I do have the Hoosiers winning this one against the Scarlet Knights. I just think Indiana's offense is going to be better than it was last week. And Rutgers' offense, while I still think it's going to be good, I don't know that Rutgers' defense is going to be able to stand up to Michael Penix, Stevie Scott, Watt Fillier, and all those other guys. So the 17th ranked Hoosiers, in my opinion, are going to get the win this week. All right, so the Northwestern Wildcats and the Iowa Hawkeyes are also going to play this week. This game is at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this one's going to be on ESPN. Iowa is the team favored in this game by 2.5, with the over and under being 46. So a pretty low over and under. Not a lot of offense expected, although I think more offense is going to come to fruition in this game than I think a lot of people think. Iowa has a great young quarterback blossoming in Spencer Petras, and Northwestern has Peyton Ramsey throwing the ball everywhere, and their running attack looked really good against Maryland last week. Now, I think everyone watching this video knows that Maryland is not that solid of a team, but it was still impressive what Northwestern was able to do. 537 total yards. That was the most among any Big Ten teams in week 1. This is going to be an interesting matchup, and I think it is going to be very, very close. These two teams are very similar in the way that they're playing. Both quarterbacks are passing it. No team really has a true number 1 target quite yet. although I think they're going to be able to find it later down the line. And both teams' running games are very, very good. I think it's going to come down to the defense here that's going to end up winning this game for one of these teams. I expect a lot of offense fly in here, as both offenses are pretty darn good. And I just believe that Northwestern has the better defense, and I think Northwestern is the overall better team. And if it comes down to a clutch situation, I would rather trust Peyton Ramsey, an experienced senior who has had his moments at Indiana, than I do with a young quarterback in Spencer Petras. So for those reasons, I am picking Northwestern to pull off the quote-unquote upset against the Iowa Hawkeyes, although with a 2.5-point spread, is it really that big of an upset? Probably not, but I am picking Northwestern to pull off the quote-unquote upset against the Iowa Hawkeyes this week. And now we move on to Game of the Week. It is the primetime game on ABC, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, I've already told you you can find it on ABC, but obviously this is the Game of the Week, the only ranked versus ranked matchup in the entirety of FBS this week. It is the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the 18th ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. A lot of people have been talking. I have not seen Penn State lose 2 games in a row in a very, very long time. This is going to be a great matchup. Despite what the line might say, Ohio State's favored by 12, and that over and under is going to be 63.5. Despite what the line might say, I feel like this game is going to be close. However, Penn State has had to deal with some problems, right? Micah Parsons is opting out. They still have some great defenders, but they are without their leader and arguably their overall best player. And arguably another one of their best players, Journey Brown, probably going to miss the entirety of the season. And Noah Cain was out for that first series against Indiana, and then we never saw him again. Turns out he has an injury. So Penn State is down to their 3rd string running back, and what makes this problematic is that is how Nebraska was able to beat Ohio State with that run game. Now, Sean Clifford in the quarterback run is still going to be potent, as Sean Clifford had 119 rushing yards last week. I think that's going to be a big part in this game if Penn State is going to want to win this game. I think it's going to be great, but this Ohio State offense is something else. When Justin Fields is throwing the ball like he did last week, there is going to be no stopping this Ohio State offense. Both defenses are fairly talented. They have some stuff to work out on both sides, but this is going to be an absolutely phenomenal matchup. I think what this game comes down to is the quarterback play, and especially the play of Justin Fields and that offensive line for Ohio State. A lot of Ohio State fans, including myself, have expressed concerns over that offensive line, which was supposed to be one of the top offensive lines in the nation, and who is that running back for Ohio State. But with Penn State being down to their 3rd string running back and having to rely on the quarterback run, I don't really think it's going to get them terribly far. I feel like this one's going to be close and competitive, but I do think that towards the end of the game, Ohio State is going to pull away. This team is just too talented, and Penn State is dealing with a lot of injuries right now. They're going to be motivated coming off that loss against Indiana. And James Franklin put out a tweet. I don't know if anyone saw it, but it was him just saying Ohio State about 10 times, and that happened on Monday. So James Franklin is clearly going to have his guys locked in against this game, but I do not see how Penn State is going to be able to beat this Ohio State team without that running game. If Sean Clifford can get running, maybe Penn State has a shot, but I am going to give the win to the Ohio State Buckeyes in your Game of the Week. All right, and that is actually going to do it for my preview and prediction video for Week 2 of the Big Ten season. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like. Also consider subscribing if you are brand new to the channel, or you just enjoy my content, turn on the notification bell so you do not miss an upload, and you can join Tailgate Nation. Also, can you do 2 things for me? Leave a comment down below. Tell me your thoughts on this video and this week in the Big Ten. Also, please share this video with everyone you know. I'm trying to grow the channel as big as possible. It would really mean a lot if you guys share this with friends, family, and anyone you know who likes college football, or more specifically Big Ten football as much as I do. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.